Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back again to the Star Ladder Invitational qualifiers for the second season of it. And you know what? Those are not actually the teams. You know, I think that I'm just going to be fired every day of the week now. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is not, in fact, Empire versus Friends. It wasn't even Empire versus Friends, and the last one was Empire versus Comanche, but it is instead going to be Vega Squadron versus Elements Pro Gaming. I'm Lyrical, going to be joined as well by the lovely, the great, the wonderful Aosin Dota. My man, how you doing?
Doing good.
I gotta switch up these overlays real quick, so I'll let you talk a little bit about the draft and what we got going here. But a couple of new squad on Vega Squadron versus an older squad from Elements Pro Gaming. They've been together forever. These guys playing a lot of games, and well, we'll see if this is going to be the one that puts them over the edge. Legion Commander, second pick overall. What's your thoughts?
Well, looks like so far, the common trend in the CIS region is that people really respect Monkey King and Treant. I think Monkey King, you know, not so surprising, but
5 seconds
with a new patch and Treant being added in, it seems like a lot of teams just aren't ready to deal with it.
Earth Spirit.
And so far, the common trend is that
Dire team ban.
At least one side favors the Warlock as first pick material. I think this is third game in a row that Warlock has been picked up in the first phase.
Yeah, that's quite good. It's sort of reminiscent of the Faceless style that we saw for a long time, where they were taking it and a roaming hero early, so you would have, like, you know, the God, I wanted to say X Nova and Afu. It's sort of a similar thing, but it's God, why am I blanking on it? XY and Nuts, and now you end up pairing that together with basically whatever you want. The one thing I would say is with Legion Commander there, it can kind of be a tough matchup against Warlock because you can just press the attack off the Shadow Word rather. So maybe they need a slightly stronger laning hero to deal with Legion. Troll possibly?
It's hard to say because recently when I watched the Summit C qualifiers, a lot of the C teams really like Legion Commander, but it was the same story every single game for Legion Commander. It just didn't work. So I'm curious to see how Vega ended up running it, because it seems like a lot of teams, and I also agree that like Legion Commander is a very good hero, but for some reason it just never seems to work out.
Yeah, I guess what are the drawbacks of the hero? You can lane quite strong. Those like early couple of levels are really hard to deal with. Is it sort of like later stages if you duel somebody and don't just instantly kill them?
Like in the later stages, like the problem with LC is that if you don't get off to a good start, then your value late game pretty much comes down to like press the attack. You know, it's a very strong dispel, really good for the attack speed, but if you're not able to keep up in farm so that you can duel someone and live through it, like your usefulness is not the greatest.
Okay, that makes sense to me. And maybe Slardar helps to enable some of that early duel pressure as well. I guess it's going to be tough though, because the Legion Commander most likely going to be the first to get a Blink Dagger. You could go for something like an Armlet early and then have Slardar be the initiator, but if Slardar gets slowed down a little bit in his Blink Dagger, then it's tough. Right now, it feels like with the Earth Spirit in hand for Elements Pro Gaming, they could be off to a really good start, and I wouldn't mind seeing a Darkseer here, actually, from them. Mitch plays a fabulous Darkseer.
Oh, that's another thing that's pretty interesting about Elements Pro Gaming is that the last time I saw them play, Gogi was their drafter and captain, but it looks like Mitch is going to be picking now.
Huh. He actually goes for the Clockwork. Kind of a dead hero. What's your thoughts on the Clock?
I actually kind of like Clock. It's not really that dead. I have seen him pop up every now and then when most of the offlaners are
10
removed.
Seconds remaining.
It seems like a lot of teams focus on banning most of the key offlane heroes. Remaining. Magnus and Abaddon are very popular at the moment. So Clockwork has been seeing quite a lot of play.
Yeah. And I guess it's, you know, very clearly going to be position 3 Clockwork. They maybe could do something where you try and lane it against the Legion and go for some Cogs pushback or something like that, but That doesn't also feel necessarily the best. Most likely just going to be in that off lane. Although you haven't revealed what your safe lane hero is going to be yet from Vega. Is there anybody that just shuts down Clockwork and causes him to have a really tough time?
I was going to say Rubik does really well against Clockwork, but unless they put LC mid and Slardar off lane,
yeah, there's
really not much space for another support. So that's probably why they're a little more convinced to bring out the Clockwork.
Ooh. And they're going to take away the Shadow Fiend, which could have been the thought for Elements Pro Gaming, is they wanted to run that abuse where you get the extra souls with the cogs. But Shadow Fiend also fits well within Vega's draft just as a whole. Press the attack onto Shadow Fiend, not to mention the minus armor synergy you got there. It's nice.
Remaining.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I always forget about that Clockwork interaction with the Shadow Fiend. So it's a good call on that one. It really, really helps your laning.
Reserve time.
But yeah, right now Elements Pro Gaming they have the AoE magic damage. Now they just need some physical damage, I feel. I don't think you want to rely too much on, that much magic damage.
Right. Other heroes, who do we tend to see Swift Ending want to play? I feel like I've seen him play a lot of
10
Slark.
seconds remaining.
But maybe not worth taking in a fourth pick. They're going to go for the Ember, so more magical.
Dire team ban.
It's hard to do like a combo build with the Ember Spirit nowadays if you don't have the mag.
Well, I feel like some of the safe lane heroes that they could have used, they ended up banning themselves. Because I was going to say like Lifestealer and Juggernaut are both decent against LC, but they ended up banning both of them. So we're going to have to wait and see what they end up taking. I feel like they may be able to use like a carry Venge. I don't think it's bad. Unfortunately, Ember Spirit's mostly magical as well, so if they go for the carry Ember or Venge, it's very reliant on Venge to deal all of the physical damage.
Right. Vega could go for a carry Venge. That could be kind of neat.
Oh yeah, definitely. It might allow Legion to not go for the Blink Dagger first either, because if you have a carry Venge, you can always just like smoke and then swap into a duel, and he doesn't have to blink in.
Yeah, that would be sweet. I'd like that a lot. I mean, for Elements Pro, again, I think that they need a very strong laning hero. Again, Trolls comes to mind, a good one who could deal with Legion fairly well. Although it's again kind of tough. Yeah, and they're going to ban out the Slark, which is definitely the swift ending hero. But to me, I feel like maybe if you're running a dual lane of Legion Slardar, Slark could have just gotten ran down anyways, but they decided to take it out nonetheless.
Yeah, that's true. That's also one of the reasons why a lot of people like the LC, is that she is one of the heroes that can actually deal, or not deal with, but really pressure the safe lane.
Yeah. Because
of how strong overwhelming odds is.
They're actually going to ban the troll themselves and take the Sven.
Dire team pick.
Very interesting. Okay. It's a hero that Swift Ending liked to play a lot back in the day, but it was mainly around those camp stacking. I don't know. Do you like it?
He definitely deals the damage, but I'm not the biggest fan of Sven, simply because teams are just very good at running away from him.
5 seconds remaining.
They kind of have the lockdown for it. I think it's decent. They have the Earth Spirit, the Clockwork. You have the Searing Chains from Ember Spirit, so I can definitely see it working out.
Okay. I guess the other thing is that you get plus armor to deal with the minus armor strat that they're dealing. Maybe you do go back for that carry Venge. I really like this play by Vega.
Yep, I just want to see those swap crush combos, swap duel combos. They have a lot of setup for this LC to bring in the damage.
Oh, you know what the real dream is, though? Swap into Frostbite into Requiem of Souls. Ooh.
Yeah, and well, if you're gonna go that far, you might as well just throw in the whole combo, right? Swap into everything.
Yeah, why not? We'll do it. Well, here we go. Game number 1, Vega versus Elements Pro Gaming. I gotta say, I'm not super sold on... I think, to me, the biggest one is probably the Ember Spirit. It depends on like how well he's going to be able to play around Vega Squadron's controlling factors, because they've got Duel, they've got Frostbite for the root, Slardar Crush, Venge's kit all together is just frightening. but maybe he knows what he needs to do to deal with it, and we'll have to see how it works out.
Yeah. On the bright side, you know, they do have a lot of ways to disengage and assist each other. Warlock, you know, he has the upheaval and the ulti. Earth Spirit, long range kick. Clockwork can hook in. Sven can stun. Like, everyone has something to contribute in terms of saving each other. So I can definitely see this build, this draft work out, but still, like, just my personal preference, I'm not a fan of Sven.
Yeah, that's definitely a tough one. I mean, it's a hero that needs to have a good start, needs to accelerate, and the way that you would do that before was with stacking. I'm curious if he goes for like a Mask of Madness build this game, or if he just tries to go like Echo Saber Armlet, that style of play. Could really work out either way. As LeBron going to place down a couple of wards. Both teams get them. They do not scout each other out. And it looks like they will also get this ward, which was placed in the last series as well, giving some pretty good vision and unlikely to be dewarded.
I think the most important thing for this Sven is just he needs the mobility items to actually hit people.
Right.
I think Blink BKB Armlet is not a bad way to start.
Okay. I guess with Cogs, too, if Mitch is able to find the angle correctly and you catch a couple heroes in it, you suddenly jump in there, start swiping away with the Sven. Could be pretty quick work of him. But I don't know. Like, you've got a couple of... Let's see, how many heroes here? You've got at least 2 heroes who are going to build 4 staffs. Maybe you could get another one on Aloha Dance. Yeah, he's going to get Hurricane Pike, I'm sure. Silent playing support. Aloha Dance carry.
Begins.
This is
I was
new time.
gonna say, this is not what I expected. I thought Aloha Dance was gonna be supporting.
Yeah, I wonder if they've switched it back up. I know that Vega did just recently go through, you know, the reshuffle, and they're trying out new things. I talked to the Empire guys when I was at DAC, and they were saying that they expected to see Silent coming back and playing carry again. But I guess Gyrocopter's not in the meta yet. Rolling in. They go on to Sioma. Gonna try and bring him down. Flame Guard level 1 taken. Trying to run down Sioma. They do have another roll in 7, but not going to be able to chase him down as of yet.
Yeah, they managed to do a lot of damage. That's actually a very big deal because now Slardar is not going to be able to assist G in this mid lane. And he does not have a single soul to his name.
Yeah, I think Bigchik doing a good job of denying him out. You are hitting creeps under tower now for G, so we'll be able to make the most of this. And maybe they can make something else happen here. There's another roll in towards mid. LeBron trying to push back G, so there's no kill potential there, since you did have raises up on the Shadow Fiend.
LeBron just made that that roll because it was the creep was running towards the tower. He just wanted to get the last hit.
Ah. I gotcha. Well, early on the laning stage, looks like Warlock should be able to get some free pulls here. Can go over, connect that as well. Legion Commander should be able to come and contest fairly well. And in the meantime, everybody just seems to be able to get their farm. I guess the only real big question is going to be how much is G going to be denied in the early stages, and you know, if that's going to slow down his ability to start to farm up and stuff.
But you can really see the effects of the LC and the offlane right now because they just can't kill him. He's, you know, able to get levels, able to get farm, and this is why a lot of teams really like the LC because it's not going to be a free farm lane for Swift Ending either.
Oh, you know what? G has level 3 and Sioma has an Invis rune. This was not scouted, I do not believe. If they can bait this out possibly with level 2 raises, this could be a kill. It's tough, though. It's really hard to make it happen. Salve pop for G. They're waiting. They want to go now. They're going to crush. They're going to turn. They're going to raise. Another one comes out. He does have enough. They find the kill. First blood drawn by G, and that solves all of his soul problems.
That was some great baiting. G was actually, I think G used his salve a little closer than you normally would in that situation, trying to get him to walk up and do something to cancel it. Fortune. And although he didn't chase him for it, I think that was like kind of a neat little play.
So with that, you know, G now having like the amount of souls that he needs to, you know, consistently stay in this lane, does that make this really hard for Ember, or is it just kind of break it even?
Oh, it's like almost impossible for Ember in my opinion.
Okay.
Once Shadow Fiend uses the shrine, or not even the shrine, he's just gonna bottle up, and if G has mana, he's just gonna bully him out of lane every single time.
All right. Well, it's gonna be a tough one to watch. See how it works out for him, and the denies are gonna start to come now. It is a painful life for Vincent. Can't get anything out of it now. So mid lane gonna go well for Vega. You talked about bottom at the very least. Afterlife is gonna start to apply some more damage onto Gogi now and forcing Swift ending him back. And it looks like they're even gonna bring Slardar down to try and keep the pressure on bottom, or at least just get the bounty rune.
Yeah, both off lanes are fairly even. In my opinion, if your off lane is the same level as your carry, or as the opponent's carry, then your off lane's doing fine. And both off lanes are doing just that.
Gogi under pressure, under fire, right click almost to death.
So close.
That smash is going to keep him alive. They don't want to use the shrine if they don't have to. And it looks like LeBron showing up in time to keep his other support alive.
Yeah, well played by everyone there, actually. Gogi, you know, remaining calm, not actually burning the shrine because it wasn't necessary. I think the biggest issue, though, is this mid lane. You know, this lane is just so difficult for Ember once it reaches this stage.
Yeah. Certainly the next couple of minutes are going to be tough, and maybe that's why you see LeBron rotates back in towards mid to try and help out a little bit. Like we said, Afterlife is going to have a good time here as well, so Swift Ending needs to be careful that he doesn't end up losing his lane. What about top? We haven't talked about that a ton. Mitch has sort of been forced back, but he's still level 4, a little bit behind the LC.
Yeah, I think he's perfectly fine. He's going to shrine up right now. There's a big wave coming in. Doesn't look like...
Oh god.
Any way to clear it.
Mid lane again, able to get that boulder smash to break it out, but the raise is going to find the kill. And now Vega pulling further ahead in this laning stage.
Yeah, this matchup is just very, very difficult for Ember Spirit. And I think a lot of this is really going to come down to the Clockwork helping them out in the early game until Warlock manages to get 6. Until then, this Clockwork is their only way to kind of even out this big game.
And the tough thing about it, too, is that as soon as he leaves the lane, Vega are going to know what's happening, I'm sure. They're going to realize that Clockwork wants to make that rotation and then probably play it safe. But for now, it does look like there is going to be some more movement in towards mid. They want to focus on shutting down this Ember Spirit. Baiting it out to the best of her abilities. He's walking forward. He's down on the low ground. They're going to sprint forward, trying to find him. LeBron with the counterplay. Keeps alive as Ember. Still getting denied out constantly. Oh, God, it hurts. I don't know if he's gotten the last hit in the past couple minutes here.
Maybe like 1 every wave. I haven't been keeping count. If you look at the numbers, it's not that terrible. But he's definitely not having a good time.
Uh-oh.
He has to be careful. He's not even 6 yet.
Oh man.
Again.
LeBron,
Very nice kick.
Yeah, saving the day, but he is going to roll forward. That might end up sealing his own doom, actually. Only has 1 point up in the roll, so should not be able to get out of this. He is going to have a boulder smash in a second, but they're already there, and he's gone. Clockwork gets level 6 off the back of one of these creep kills here, although Lowhead already starting to mount up some pressure. Maybe Mitch makes the move then. Where do you see him going to try and find a kill?
It's a tough call. If there was a lane he could gank, probably the LC, but even the LC is a tough kill. And it's hard to find a support to kill either. Shadow Fiend could work. because Ember Spirit is now 6.
Radiant's top tower is under
That would be great if he could get in on him. Although, it looks like Clockwork is just going to head back to lane for the moment. Nobody feeling quite confident in making a move, it looks like.
Time to pick a fight.
I guess that's the thing, is that if you make that rotation with Mitch and you don't find a kill, then you basically wasted a ton of time.
Yeah, but I feel like they do need to take some kind of risk. They need to go for something right now, because if this continues on, like, they're just suffering in every lane.
Yeah. I guess with Shadow Fiend spending more time in the jungle, it's meant that your Ember has been able to catch up a little bit, but he's still like behind the LC right now, which is tough. And they're actually going to make the move up top. So this is an interesting way to do it instead. You leave the Clockwork here, and then you try and hook the Venge. And then eventually you're going to be able to find a kill with the chains.
Okay, I like this. This definitely is viable.
Actually, they don't even need to use the hook right here. They're just going to be able to find the kill with the rolling kick, and Aloha Dance going to find Qual.
Yeah, and they give the kill to Ember Spirit too. He really
Radiant's
needs it.
middle tower
well done
is
by
under
them.
attack.
All right. Well done, well done. Saving hook shot. Mitch can make another play now somewhere else if he wants to. In the meantime,
Bottom lane, Gogi in a lot of trouble. This might be the first kill damage. Nope, a lot of TP's coming in.
Afterlife's still hiding. Mitch is there. He's going to spot out Afterlife in a second, runs into him. There's going to be the stun. And now suddenly things starting to look a little bit better for Omith Pro Gaming. They bring down Afterlife. Well played.
And looks like you were right. Sven, first item, Mask of Madness.
Oh my god, I was not expecting it. What the hell? I really, like, I was thinking, is that where you go? But it's kind of weird, right?
Bottom tower is under attack.
I think it's fine.
Structures are fortified.
If you look at the rest of the heroes, he definitely does have a way to actually hit them. You know, everyone has some kind of lockdown, minus Warlock.
Right.
So, I mean, I can see it working. And like you said, this is one of his heroes, right?
Is under attack.
So he knows best.
True enough.
This'll come in handy.
It does seem kind of odd, but won't question him any further. I will say the Sanjin Yasha that's queued up afterwards, that one is also a little bit strange.
Yeah, I agree with that, but it's like a old school Sven build.
Yeah. And I guess the thought is that you can get like a pushback with cogs, and then that turns into a stun. And maybe you have enough control with the rest of your heroes that allows you to like stay on top of them.
Under attack.
This is a good movement though here towards mid. Shadow Fiend. Can they find G? He takes the short route. He's going to end up being punished for this one. Now Mid jumps forward, finds the hook. There's the catch. There's the kill, soon to be. And G falls. Now Sioma also maybe in a little bit of trouble. Convincent maybe going to drop here as well. Can they turn this one back around? They drop the Warlock ulti onto 2, only to secure their retreat actually. And a bit of an awkward play there.
Yeah, I'm not too convinced that it was necessary. I think he was kind of afraid of the Venge swapping him back in, but I think all things considered, they should be fine with that. I think that they still have an answer to Vega's lineup for like defending towers, minus this bottom one. This bottom one only has 100 life. Swift Ending understands what's coming. I'm pretty sure he'll make it out of this because only 2 supports here.
Yeah, time to run, and we'll pop the Mask of Madness for a little bit of extra movement speed. It got nerfed,
well,
but it's still pretty good. 17%. Oh, wait, 20%. No, 17%. Excuse me.
Radiant's bottom tower.
I think this is the first Mask of Madness I've seen in like, I don't know, a really long time.
Dire's middle tower.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm trying to think off the top of my head the last time I saw this, and I don't remember the last time I saw Mask of Madness.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Well,
Radiant's bottom tower is
in the
under
meantime, Vega trying to take control of this map. They took down the tier 2 tower or tier 1 tower in the bottom lane. Now Silent is going to scout out LeBron, although he might get punished for this. Just a little bit too deep here. They throw out the Magnetize, gonna slide onto 1. LeBron is gonna die. but they might be able to find something more with this. There isn't a Warlock ulti, but Aloha Dance could still get chased down here. Looks like Elements aren't going to chase it, though.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Well, small little exchange. It's like a tiny edge for Vega. And let's see how G is farming. Yeah, looks like
they are grouped up right now, and they have that hook available. They're thinking about going on him. Warlock is here. Mitch gonna get jumped on. Can they find the kill? The duel? It's not gonna come. They get the cogs off, swap it back in. Afterlife gives up on the situation. They do lose Mitch, but they're gonna take down 2 in exchange, and a double remnant forward. Aloha Dance in trouble and eventually going to be brought down. I kind of wonder if Afterlife stuck around in that, if maybe it ends up looking differently, but now they get the duel onto 1. Vincent trying to get out of this one for the follow-up, remnant away, but not going to happen. Now they're on that shrine. Swift Ending thinking about fighting this. He has a Sanj done. Duo still have Frostbite, though, from Silent.
They're chasing.
Stun onto 1. They have Warlock ulti back up. This could be really bad. They end up dropping it. The Recluse Souls comes out, but it's still going to not be enough. G is going to fall. And now Mitch back alive again. No more hook shot, but Silent so freaking low, 34 HP. But no one to Fatal Bonds him to.
Wait for the rocket. He might find him.
Mitch looking, trying to find it. No! Silent, no! Oh, man.
That was so close.
God. Would have been brilliant.
I actually thought he was going to hit that.
Yeah, same. Well, a very...
Oh, Blink Duel up top.
All right.
Not going to get the dual damage, but they do get the kill.
Well played.
Is under attack.
And... well, they talked about Legion enabling herself. It's going to happen in this game. So, Ember, 2 deaths back-to-back. Not what he wants to have happen, and this was sort of what we expected could happen in the draft.
Radiant's top tower is
A lot
under
of control
attack.
for him.
Ooh, another interesting thing. Ember Spirit went for 25 damage instead of the spell amplification, so I wonder if we're going to see a right-click Ember here.
Weird. Yeah, do you like a right-click Ember any more in this game than like the traditional Veil build?
I honestly think the magic build is still better, especially against the heroes that they're up against. Like, you can pretty much instantly kill the supports.
Oh, LeBron Dota.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
This carry alive. Yeah, it's weird too because he went for like treads and now back for Maelstrom. So, I mean, is Maelstrom still the build if you go right click?
Well, go robot.
Oh. Are you a robot? You're a robot as well. We're all robots. You still there?
All right, we're good. We're good.
Never refuse good.
But yeah, is Maelstrom, or rather, yeah, Maelstrom still the build if you go right click?
I'm pretty sure that's hard to say.
Yeah.
That still feels like the spell route. Yeah, I'm not too sure.
It's strange. I mean. This is going to be a weird question, but can you go the spell build without the spell amplification?
Yeah, you definitely can. You know, 10% it's a lot, but you know, you can still go for the spell build.
Okay. You don't sound entirely convinced, and I'm not going to lie, neither am I.
I definitely am not convinced, but we'll have to see how his build pans out.
All right. Well, in the meantime, you have your Warlock who's almost completed a Midas. Decent timing for a support. Your Clockwork has a Midas. And it seems like right now, Elements Pro Gaming, they just want to take it into the later stages.
Yeah, a lot of these types of heroes just like to farm. They just really need their levels, and especially since they're not the greatest at farming. I think this is what Ice does on Clockwork from what I've seen as well.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Meantime, Aloha Dance building into that Hurricane Pike. You know you're going to need it. Shadow Fiend already has his. We mentioned Slardar probably going to want to go for one after he goes for the Blink Dagger, which he's getting ever closer to. Looks like Legion's going to go back for Blade Mail. But this is a big smoke play towards the top lane. And with Warlock ulti in hand, Elements Pro Gaming certainly should be able to secure this tower.
Slardar needs to be careful. He's so close to his Blink Dagger. Little does he know, everyone is here.
This is a tough one.
Oh, he's going to go down.
Radiant's bottom tower
They
is under
spot him,
attack.
although they just TP away one, but there's the hook shot in. They've got Sioma. He manages to find the crush, but to no avail. Mitch secures the kill, and in the meantime, Ember can push out the bottom lane. So close to Blink, but no cigar.
Yeah, it seems like, for the most part, this game, Force Staff is pretty much what everyone wants to get, apart
Dire's
from
top tower is
Legion.
under attack.
Similar to the Ricky, you know, you always want to have the Force Staff ready for the Clockwork, and even more so now because they're up against the Sven. As long as they have a way to continuously kite the Sven up until late game, I think Vega should be fine.
Okay. Well, Venge was hanging out down there, decided not to go any further. Again, Sioma only 40 gold away this time from Blink. They do have a ward up here that was scouting all the movement, which is why he felt safe, but obviously the long smoke ended up throwing him a bit for a loop. Sven finishing off his Sanjin Yash, or rather his BKB. And Blade Mail still a decent ways away for the Legion Commander. Yeah, we're getting close. Again, I'm wondering, like, Elements Pro Gaming's fights have looked good because there hasn't been a way to get out of cogs. Now that there is ways out of cogs, do you think that with, like, limited mobility on Sven, it might be a problem?
Right now, I'm going to say that it's still okay.
What have we here?
Especially since they're probably not going to try to fight anyone. Or they're not going to try to take any fights until Sven finishes BKB, because there's like only 9 people left. And with a 10-second BKB, even with Force Staff, I think it's still fine for them. The problem for Sven is when, because he gets his BKB so early, is when it runs down to, like, you know, 7, 6, 5 seconds. Then it gets really difficult for him to fight.
Right. Yeah, it's tough. It's a hero that, you know, he's been out of the meta for a while, and maybe this build is something that Swift Ending has been working on that he feels like works really well. It's worth noting Sanjin Yasha has constantly gotten these buffs recently. The MAME chance now at 40%. You end up having, what else? A little bit of increased movement speed, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that. But I think the big thing was 40% on the MAME chance. So it's going to be slowing like an Echo Saber.
Oh, that's a good point. I forgot about the Echo Saber. That's like the go-to for all Sven, and he doesn't have it. But he has more than enough attack speed because he has the Sanjin Yasha and the Mask of Madness.
Yeah. Bit of a pause coming out now from Vega. Take a look at the net worth. We're right about even. We haven't seen that big fight. Elements certainly have a lot of team fight in their arsenal, but you can't rule out the double Blink Daggers, and might just see them on display here. Sioma Afterlife, they're trying to chase the Ember. They're not quite in range. They dropped the ward. He went to the south, though, and Sioma going to continue to chase. They do find the crush, and there should be the dual victory. Blade Mail came out as well, but now Swift Ending is here. Have they dug too deep? Afterlife gets silenced. They're trying to bring him low. They stun instead onto Sioma, starting to bring him down, but they find the crush. Swift Ending should end up going down here. Clockwork ends up dying as well. Sioma does finally go. The Force Staff not able to save him. The Courier drops. The Ember is gone. The 3-person stun. The Warlock ulti as well. They're going to bring down one. Can they take down another? Requiem of Souls turning to fight, but Swift Ending needs to get out of here. Afterlife and have duel in 20 seconds. Not quite soon enough for Swift Ending, who will be able to escape from this one. And meanwhile, the Warlock Golem still doing some bit of damage here. But even though they were fighting behind the tier 2 where it was, it's still not going to be enough, and Vega come out big.
Yeah, and the scary thing about that fight for Elements is that they used everything, and they still ended up losing the fight.
Oh god. Afterlife cancels his TP. He wants to go back in. He knows what's up. And Ember not going to go down. They don't want to jump him there.
This Ember is so squishy. Like, Legion doesn't even have that much damage, but thanks to that Blade Mail and the Maelstrom proc, he just died in 3 hits.
Now, well, in towards Roshan now. You have BKB just completed on G. All of these mobility items. All right, do they make the play? There's one bash. He has a hook shot available. Clockwork is in Fountain, so no, he's not going to go for it.
That Roshan died way too fast for them to do anything about it.
Radiant's top tower,
especially since they don't have Golem.
Radiant's top tower is fallen.
And like you said, Clockwork was still in the Fountain. This is not a fight they could take.
Well, a couple other things that are kind of interesting. You're going back for the Blink now on the Sven, so he will solve some of those mobility problems that he sort of had. You have a Solar Crest being built on the Warlock. He's already done with the Medallion, so more ways to deal with the low armor. Maybe that helps to keep the Ember alive a little bit. I don't know. It's tough to tell.
This'll come in handy.
Yeah, it really is. And Sven, he's not going to finish his BKB, it seems. Feels like he really just needs to blink right now, but I don't know. I felt like last team fight was an indicator of how much damage he takes. Even with 2600 life, without that BKB, he might just go down to all the magic damage from the SF and CM. Overwhelming odds as well.
Yeah, they require so much, and Aloha Dance, the perfect hero to siege high ground with. The swap to find initiation is just so potent, and you do have Warlock ulti back up. And it looks like Afterlife is actually going to TP to the south. They want to go into Swift Ending. They found him. The duel is there. He's killing himself. And he is now gone for 70 seconds. Time to relock and reload and take high ground. He actually buys out the BKB, so stuck around long enough to finish it. Maybe it'll be worth it? I don't know.
He did so much damage to himself. Okay, he bought the BKB.
Yeah.
Oh no, he had enough gold. Never mind. Okay, he had that much gold. I didn't notice.
Yeah, must have just finished it.
Yeah, he did so much damage to himself because of Slardar ulti and Blade Mail. He pretty much kills himself. Like the Vega didn't even do that much damage to him. It was just him hitting himself.
Yeah.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Maybe
attack.
That's part of the reason why you end up going for the Medallion 2 on the Warlock. You can boost up the armor of the Sven a little bit further.
Radiant's
Fighting under tower will help also. But with so much minus armor that's there already on Vega, it's hard. Really, really hard to deal with.
Well, they have all of the powder tier 2s. They have Aegis for quite some time now. I'm thinking that they have what it takes to go for a tier 3.
Fortune.
And is anybody building an AC on Vega? Doesn't look like it.
For Vega?
Yeah.
If anyone's gonna build it, it's probably gonna be either Venge or LSD. I'm thinking it's probably better on Venge, but I think as a Venge you like to have more stats.
Because that's one.
It might not even be necessary though.
If Swift Ending can finish off his AC before they do, that does solve a lot of the problems that he has with Blade Mail, because you're gonna have enough armor that hopefully you don't completely destroy yourself. I don't know. Even because the other thing is that Mask of Madness, you give yourself that minus armor, so. Ugh.
I think even with AC, he's still going to die. Just like that with the Link almost catches him. Because you're against a Venge, you're against an SF, and you have that Slardar, so AC only gives you 15 armor. Corrosive Haze cancels that out, and then you still have to deal with the Presence of the Dark Lord and Wave of Terror. That's another minus 12. He's still gonna be like at 1 armor.
Oh!
They mistimed it, but they still end up getting the duel.
Yeah. The power of Venge. Yeah. There's just not a great answer.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
I guess you just have to avoid
Dire's
fighting
bottom tower has fallen.
the Legion.
Radiant's middle
Don't
tower
get dueled
is
is the
under
answer. One of the strengths of this hero.
Duel is down, but even then, you know, look at this Shadow Fiend. He's gigantic, and he has that Aegis.
Radiant's middle
All right,
tower
there's
is
a
fallen.
nice chains. The stun's still there onto G. The Aegis, though, it's hard to go on him. And, oh, immediate smoke. Was that scouted, though? Yeah, they spotted him just barely with this ward up on the high ground.
Yeah, they're making the right play. They're going to go to the high ground instead to prepare for this smoke.
Oh no, and this is looking real bad. All right, Aegis expired.
It's still a bad idea because this is right next to the shrine. He has a BKB and they have Hurricane. They have 4 staffs.
He's like just touching the shrine. Just don't end up.
They know it's coming.
You throw the Solar Crest onto him. LeBron is there. He scouts himself out for a moment. Run away, little LeBron, run away! He's going to be able to make his escape. This actually could be a little bit of a better fight, though. If they fight away from the shrine. They have Warlock ulti. Yeah, heads up play there from Vega. I hit the wrong button. I messed up which way the net worths are. So,
Dire's top
Shrines now to go down. Sven is going to finish off his plate mail, so a little bit of extra armor there. He needs it desperately. Midas is going to be able to finish off the Solar Crest pretty soon for Warlock. I guess we're going to need an Ags for Clockwork eventually.
Well, in my opinion, the biggest issue right now is that the Emperor isn't outputting enough damage
This'll come in handy.
Okay.
to carry at this point. So, mid, not going to get anything out of it though, because he does have BKB and 4 step.
Now,
But if you look at the Ember's build, he's spending a lot of money in all sorts of different items just to help him catch up and farm. But now he has like 2 boots and just a Maelstrom. He doesn't do nearly enough damage.
yeah.
There's no Veil either.
Well, and he's going to be going back for Lincoln's next to stay alive, which, again, it's hard to like criticize any of these items because you can understand where he's coming from, but like you said, it does leave him very much lacking for damage.
Yeah, and since Sven isn't having an easy time actually hitting anything, there's just not enough damage.
Well, Legion, next item for her is going to be AC after finishing off the BKB. And it feels almost inevitable at this point. The slow decay of Elements Pro Gaming's ability to win this.
Yeah. In Vega, they still have one more
Dire's
shrine to
middle
go.
tower is under
They're
attack.
probably just going to play this out safely, you know. Keep pressure on the map, keep lanes pushed out, take this last shrine, and then wait for Roshan. And then, you know, focus on getting the racks.
Oh, God. Oh. Afterlife. Poor Mitch.
I don't know. Everyone's here. They want to jump the Warlock. That's how you want to start the fight.
Does he reveal himself?
No one's
Afterlife.
going to see him.
Oh no, Afterlife. Wait, they spotted him. Okay. All right. Turns, duels, no Ember. Why are you there? Can they kill him off in time? But Vincent, you're killing yourself with the blade mail. They are going to find that kill. Ember's gone. The clock hookshot onto 2. It might be enough. They think about dropping that Warlock ulti, but not as of yet. Silent gets that catch. Now LeBron, the CM ulti, it's doing a ton of work there. They're going to end up losing everybody without even taking the fight. There was never a chance. And I feel like they did maybe, let's say, sub 2,000 damage in that fight, Elements Pro Gaming as a team. It was just, all right, 3,000 damage. It was really bad.
That was just a
Radiant's
lot of
top tower is
miscommunication
under
because the
attack.
Emperor found the LC, but no one responded to help him. And that was a full duration duel,
Radiant's
but
top
like,
tower has fallen.
he doesn't even go down. That
Radiant
was
structures
4 for
are
nothing.
fortified.
It's a very awkward engagement altogether. And they also, did they have a ward on the hill? They didn't, right?
Radiant's
there's
Yeah.
no
middle
ward on the hill.
barracks are under
They had
attack.
that one there.
Radiant's
I
top
guess the thing, though, is like it's
Radiant's
always
middle
really
tower
hard
has
when you
fallen.
end up finding somebody when you weren't expecting it, and then,
Radiant's top
oh god,
barracks are under
oh,
attack.
they want to kill the CM.
Ooh, the hook just off the mark as well.
There's been a collection of misplays. You can't blame them too much, Elements Pro Gaming. It's a tough game. Tough
Did
game.
Ember buy back as well?
Radiant's top
Oh, the
barracks
range rack
has
also
fallen.
goes down.
It's on 6 HP.
No, the top one just went down to a catapult, even though like 4 heroes were clearing out creeps.
Oh god.
Truly, it feels bad.
Steven, it's hurting. Elements Pro Gaming. It's a struggle. How do you just need to wait for that perfect team fight? Like, they didn't get the Warlock ulti in the last one. Does that solve their problems? This
I'm gonna
ward
go
is
ahead
still
and
not
say
gone.
no. There's just too many items on Vega. Like, there's a BKB on Shadow Fiend, BKB on LC, on Venge. There's just no real way of catching them out. I like this play though. They're taking a risk on Roshan. It's doing it pretty quickly, but oh, it looks like it's not gonna work out. Oh no.
They have eyes. All right, good boulder smash through the hook shot onto 2 as well. Is it going to be enough? He's able to force tap him away. The Warlock ulti down. Aloha Dance is dead. Swift Ending has the Aegis. Maybe they can take this a little bit further. Aloha Dance, no, they don't quite have enough to chase him down. And now Shadow Fiend going to be able to run down that Ember. Double for them. Silent. Is Silent really going to live here? CM somehow, someway is just going to waddle away from this one. Gogi going down to Afterlife on the side. Mitch trying to get out, but they swap back in and kill off the Clockwork. Triple for G. Might end up being a 4th as well, as Swift Ending going to be found, going to be crushed,
Oh, that dodge.
and going to be killed. Aegis. No
The Requiem.
salvation. G with an emphatic, get the hell out of my game. And that might just be about it.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Oh, Vega.
Onto him. There's just no move elements could make that Vega didn't predict.
LeBron gonna be silenced there. They jump in, they get the stun. But who's ganking who? They kill off the Venge, but immediately back up because she has the Aghanim Scepter. Oh, Swift Ending is gone. All right, this game is over now. GG is called. My God, what a spanking.
There you have it. Why I'm not convinced on the Sven. Like, Vega is a team full of, you know, veteran Dota players. They handled the Sven very, very well. You know, there was just no way for the Sven to get into these team fights. They just kited him to death. And if he wasn't being kited, you know, it was a blade mail duel coming his way.
Yeah. I like that Elements were willing to try something a little bit outside of the game plan. I do really wonder if in the draft Mitch wanted to get the Clockwork Shadow Fiend like combination to sort of abuse it and get early souls, and maybe Vega Squadron threw a wrench in their cogs, at the risk of making a pun, that kind of struggled at that point. But regardless, at the end of the day, Vega come away with the win, and the more experienced team, even though Elements have been together forever, Vega has more of that experience on, like, you know, the bigger stages and playing these games. Hey, listen, any final thoughts on this game as we look forward to game number 2, what we might end up seeing different?
It's a tough one. I think they shouldn't underestimate that mid matchup because G is an insane mid player. This guy is so strong in the mid lane. They did try a lot to shut him down, but unfortunately, it kind of turned against them. Just by giving up that 1 kill to G, he just turned that mid lane entirely around, and I think that's a very big turning point in that game.
All right, well, we're going to hop now into game number 2, Elements Pro Gaming versus Vega Squadron. Is Vega going to close it out and give us an early end to today with 2 quick 2-0s, or we're going to be going to a game number 3? Find out in just a little bit. Again, Casters, Lyrical, and Aosin. We'll be back in a bit.
E-Gaming Bets online.